Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sandeep Rao, and I'm a senior go-to-market specialist with Amazon Connect. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Jack Hutton, who you can see on video, a principal product manager, and Freddie Jimenez, a senior scaling solutions architect with Amazon Connect. Today, we're going to be discussing Amazon Connect's agent and empowerment and productivity solution. So if you are here today, you are either a business decision maker, a technical decision maker, or a supervisor who wants to learn how Amazon Connect can help with agent-driven outcomes. For builders, we're glad that you can join us today. We have a technical workshop as well tomorrow where we will actually configure several of the experiences that you see here today. If you want to attend that session, please take a quick picture of the QR code you see here on the screen and register. I'll leave it up for 10 seconds. Okay, let's move on. So a quick agenda before we get started. We're just going to spend 5 minutes talking to you about what Amazon Connect is. We'll quickly move to the challenges that agents face, challenges that we see over and over again in our day-to-day jobs. I'm going to move it over to Jack, and he'll talk about Amazon Connect's agent empowerment productivity, what that really means to us. We'll wrap things up with 15 minutes, a demonstration of our agent empowerment capabilities led by Freddie Jimenez. And finally, there'll be Q&A at the end, so hopefully plenty of time to get to your questions. All right, well, let's start with Amazon Connect. Well, Amazon Connect is our global pay-as-you-go cloud contact center that allows you to scale up or down to as many agents as you have. A couple things to know about Amazon Connect. Managers and admins have complete control with a simple self-service UI. Our goal is to deliver dynamic, personal, and natural customer experiences. We infuse all of our services with artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we really want to help supervisors optimize their contact center with analytics and insights. We have tens of thousands of customers today, and we support more than 10 million contact center interactions every single day. You can see a number of the brands that we support here. A couple of verticals that are represented. We are strong in public sector, both at the federal level and at the state level. We have several brands here listed representing the financial services sector, from retail banking all the way through insurance, and a number of brands here that represent travel and hospitality. So at Amazon Connect, our goal is really to build solutions that serve the needs of 4 important stakeholders within the contact center. The customer stakeholder, which is represented by our omnichannel customer experience pillar. The agent stakeholder, which is represented by our agent empowerment and productivity pillar. The admin stakeholder, represented by our self-service configuration and management pillar. And finally, the supervisor, represented by our analytics, insights, and optimizations pillar. Now, all 4 of these stakeholders have intertwining roles that influence a high-performing contact center. Today, we're going to talk about the agent stakeholder and the role that they play in a high-performing contact center. So let's dive into it. What role does an agent play in a high-performing contact center? Well, agents are the first humans your customers interact with. By the time a customer has reached an agent, they have already consulted your website, online materials, as well as other answers on the web. They have tried fixing or resolving a situation on their own. They may have interacted with an automated system after calling in or reaching out to your contact center. And finally, they've reached you, the agent. And they're really looking for efficient resolution to their situation. In a high-performing contact center, an agent understands the situation that a customer is going through, and they're knowledgeable and take the right decision at the right time to resolve the call. Efficient agents drive customer loyalty, an important metric that matters to everyone within the contact center. Another important point of information, we know that agent labor can make up over 70% of contact center costs. So every change that we make to a contact center has a big impact on these costs. And finally, we know that there's frequent turnover in this industry, up to 50% annually for some of our customers. Now, what are some of the pain points that agents face? Well, I'll walk you through one by going through a recent example of an interaction I had attempting to reclaim lost luggage from an airline. In this example, I considered the policies online of the airline, and when I wasn't able to resolve my issue, I reached out. I was greeted by an automated system, provided some information, and then finally, I was connected to the agent who received my contact using their soft phone. The agent then proceeded to ask me questions about myself, including my name and my mileage number, in order to look me up in their CRM application. After that was complete, the agent asked me a few questions about my situation, and they tracked the answers in a notes app. I told them that I had lost luggage, I told them the value of the luggage, and that I wanted to submit a claim. The agent didn't have an immediate answer, so they put me on hold, and they opened up their knowledge application. Here, they searched for a policy on how to handle my situation. When they were unable to find the policy, they escalated using chat to another agent. I'm still on hold. Finally, they looked through another few applications before they were able to find the policy. They took me off hold, and they said they would send me an email with the information. While we eventually got to a resolution, I was not satisfied. I was in the middle of a workday, frustrated, and now I had even more work to do to get my issue resolved. This experience is backed up by research done by Gartner. Contact center agents today use an average of 8.2 different systems and tools. And what does this lead to? This leads to agents being overwhelmed. With the number of applications that they have to consult, it places a high cognitive load on agents, and it forces a limited capacity for learning. What does this mean for your contact center? Well, this means that new agents struggle to get up to speed fast, and that experienced agents deliver an inconsistent experience, even if they know what to do. At Amazon Connect, we thought, what if we could connect these siloed data and tools, automatically surface customer info, and streamline inefficient workflows, all at the moment a customer makes contact? What outcomes would that drive for your contact center? I'm going to move it over to Jack Hutton now, who will talk about how Amazon Connect thinks about agent empowerment and productivity and what that means to us.
Great. Screen start sharing. And so when we start looking at what tools we wanted to provide in our agent experience, we wanted to make sure we directly address these needs of agents. So for the first proposition we wanted to make sure we covered was unifying the entire agent experience into a single location where all the workflows and data they needed lived in the same website. This really, we saw, helped agents onboard and new agents get training. And even our first customers who've used this agent workspace have seen benefits such as Unum Insurance, who's reduced onboarding time for agents by 50%. The second proposition we wanted to go after was making sure that every customer interaction an agent had was personalized and that the agents had quick access to the relevant customer data and the issues that the customer is facing. Ultimately, we see this ease of reducing search costs improves the agent's contact resolution time. And we've already seen customers such as Kentucky DMV reduced their average handle contact time by up to 40%. And then lastly, it's imperative for us to always be looking to introduce more and more AI and ML capabilities. This really helps streamline the agent's experience, which ultimately provides a much better end customer experience. Ultimate goal here is we really want to improve and increase the first contact resolution statistics. Now, when we talk about Connect's agent empowerment capabilities, it all starts with our out-of-the-box agent workspace. With this website, we consolidate all of the different agent capabilities into a single place. That way, agents have everything they need at their fingertips. This website comes with every Connect instance, and it's up to customers to opt into features. And not only that, you're only charged for the capabilities you use and by the usage in which you use them. So there's no more license fees to use this application, and therefore you don't have to worry about paying for an app that you use in months with low volume. Now, Freddie is going to, in a moment, dive deep into an example that touches on all these different capabilities working together. But for today, I'm just going to talk about just the step-by-step guides experience, which is our newest capability in this offering. So step-by-step guides, we introduce these workflows that can be provided to agents front and center at the start of a contact. It's a very configurable experience. So on one hand, you can provide an agent with access to all the different workflows they might have access to, but you also can tailor it so that based on the information you might gather in IVR, you can surface at the very start of contact the workflow that's most relevant to them, and they can just dive right in. Either way, it's giving agents quick access to the actions they need to go resolve customer matters. So in terms of an actual workflow, you can add little descriptions to it to give contextual information to the agent to understand what a workflow is, and even branch them to sub-workflows or specific actions in a workflow that they can go take. This experience really gives you the flexibility you need to tailor this to more experienced agents or totally fresh-faced agents on their first day of work. Now, I use the word workflow so far, but this has been a landing screen. When it comes to a workflow, that really is up to the customer in terms of how they want to implement it. But the most common example we want to provide is the ability to enter form information, make transactions. And so an example here would be a multi-step form. On the left-hand side, we see a wizard giving the agent the shortcut to access different steps in the workflow. And on the right, we see the different information they need to gather from the customer and submit to resolve the matter. And in this screen, you can see that we are able to pull in data and auto-populate it, as well as give blank text fields to the agent. Ultimately, what this highlights is that this experience, although it's contained in our Connect application, it can be fully integrated with your own homegrown or third-party systems using Lambda functions. This way, an agent doesn't have to open 5, 8 different apps to resolve a matter. All that info can be pulled directly into the agent workspace, and the agent is also able to update those backend systems from the agent workspace. Now, when it comes to this configuration experience, you don't need to have a full development toolkit in order to build it. What we've done is we've repurposed Connect's no-code drag and drop builder to allow customers to now build these UI-based workflows. Traditionally, Connect Flows was used for just contact routing, IVRs, and chatbots, but now it also can be used to build these agent-facing guides. And to do this, we've introduced one new building block that you can find called the show view block. But along those lines, we want to highlight that all the other capabilities that Freddie's going to touch on also has this integration with our no-code builder. So for example, Freddie will talk about cases, wisdom, customer profiles. All of these also have building blocks in our no-code designer that gives you tools and hooks to allow for automation, retrieval of data, and really creating that more personalized, easy to access experience for agents. Now, so far I've only been showing screenshots and talking about our out-of-the-box agent workspace, but that's where we started, but it's not where we stop. For us, it's very important that customers get to choose the agent desktop experience that works best for them, and then pick and choose our capabilities via APIs in order to leverage them. So for one example, we have partner agent desktops, such as CRMs like Salesforce, and even ISVs we work with that build their own dedicated agent desktops. They use Connect capabilities under the hood. This usually looks more either like an embedded experience where you will take maybe our UI and overlay it into a CRM, but it also can just be a more easily managed way that you don't have to worry about the desktop itself, but you can still get Connect's benefits of integrations. On the other end of the spectrum, we also allow support for full custom agent desktops. All the services we talk about here in this presentation do have APIs that let you either embed the feature or directly access the data or capabilities of the features, allowing you to get full control over your agent's experience. For us, it's important for customers to have this flexibility, and we support both these out-of-the-box UIs and the APIs as well. And before I hand it off to Freddie, just a quick few callouts of different customers who have already onboarded to our out-of-the-box agent workspace. I won't go through all the stats, but just want to call it quick highlights and note that all three customers here come from totally different industry verticals, but they've all seen great benefits in their recent migrations to our workspace. So for example, Kentucky DMV, they've seen a great decrease in onboarding time for their agents of up to 50%. Where meanwhile, Orbit Irrigation has seen a decrease in the average contact handle time for their agents, and ultimately they're seeing their agents be able to handle twice as many contacts per hour. And lastly, Unum Insurance has seen great benefits in terms of IT cost reductions, and by migrating from their existing custom solution that they've used for years to our agent workspace, they've noted that they've seen a 50% decrease and platform costs. So this is sort of some of the highlights that we've seen of our agent empowerment capabilities and the benefits we see from addressing these agent needs. But now I'll hand it over to Freddie, who will give a walkthrough of what it looks like when these tools work together.
Thank you, Jack. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. So today we're going to be covering a quick demo of some of the agent empowerment or all of our agent empowerment capabilities that we have in Amazon Connect. For today's demo, as Jack mentioned, we're going to dive into those capabilities and cover a use case with our friend Maria, who has to contact her bank, Voyager Bank, due to fraudulent activity on her account. Maria is traveling internationally with her family in France, and she is at a store purchasing gifts for her nephew's upcoming birthday at a store in Paris named Nile. When she attempts to make a purchase using her green credit card at this store, her card is declined that transaction. And after that transaction, she immediately receives a notification on her mobile device that notifying her of this declined transaction, and she opens it. When she opens it, she quickly navigates to the chat button on the mobile app to engage with the Voyager's bank virtual assistant. And the chat option triggers a contact flow behind the scenes and provides some interactive messaging that allows the customer to select from pre-configured options that are relevant to recent customer activities. So Maria, in this situation, is going to go ahead and select help with my declined charge. And the bot responds back with routing with the customer to an agent and providing the option of either the voice channel or continuing to the chat channel. And Maria at this point is very frustrated and wants to immediately engage with someone over voice. So she selects call me. Maria receives her call back, and let's see what the messages played by the AVR.
Welcome to Voyager Bank. Hi, Maria. This is the callback you requested on our mobile app. I see you recently logged into mobile banking regarding your declined charge. We are connecting you to an agent now. This call may be monitored or recorded.
All right, so Maria got put into queue and the contact gets transferred to the agent workstation and lands on what we call our agent workspace. You'll immediately notice that all these tabs begin to populate for the agent when the call arrives to provide agents easy access to our agent empowerment tools and all the tools that the agent needs to start this contact. We'll cover all these tabs throughout the demo. But first, you see our step-by-step guide that populates on the screen with some of the context of the customer and details on why they might be calling. An additional context that they requested a callback through the mobile app so that the agent can prepare a proper greeting to the customer. On the next tab, we have Amazon Connect customer profiles, which equips the agent with a more unified view of the customer profile. Here we see Maria Garcia's customer profile that shows customer information such as her address and loyalty. And you'll see Maria has been a member since 2013 at Voyager Bank. So once the agent confirms that now is still a good time for her callback, they can also thank her for her loyalty for the past 10 years with the bank. On the next two tabs, you can see Amazon Connect cases featured on these two tabs, which is our case management feature. You'll see any open cases that are relevant to the customer and the actual case that opens specifically related to this time Maria called. This open case provides details that there was fraudulent activity on this account and also provides details on the declined transaction, such as the amount, the location, just so that the agent is prepared. And this allows that the contact center track this transaction and ensure that the agents go down proper steps before closing this case. You'll also notice we have Wisdom on the right-hand side, which is our ML-powered knowledge base recommendation service. We'll close this sidebar for now and come back to it later throughout the demo. And as this conversation begins between the agent and the customer, and you get enough of a voice print from the customer, you'll notice on the contact control panel, our soft phone on the left-hand side, that voice ID authenticates the customer, and that the agent can now proceed with the customer request. The agent will pull the Guides tab open and see that based on the case and what the customer is asking for, Maria has had a declined transaction and needs to review her transaction history to unblock her card to be able to make the purchases for her nephew in Paris. The agent clicks on Review Transaction History and then initiates the workflow for Review Transaction History. You'll notice it jumps to step 2 immediately on the left-hand side with our wizard. And this is because we have pre-populated part of the form with customer information based on what we know of the customer. This workflow will typically require someone to provide the account they're calling about so that we can dip into customer records to find recent transactions. But because we know Maria is calling due to a declined transaction on her green credit card, we go ahead and repopulate this information for the agent and skip to step 2 just to avoid repetitive questions to Maria. This allows for a more seamless transaction with customers and expedites issue resolution. Now, moving back to step 2 here, the agent can now proceed with the next step of this workflow, which will be under the box labeled decline transaction. The agent can confirm with the customer on the details regarding their declined transaction and obtain approval from Maria on whether this transaction was indeed her or was a fraudulent transaction. The agent may request details specific to the transaction, such as location, amount, etc. But now I want to redirect your attention to the top right where it says Search Wisdom. Maria at this point is still frustrated and states to the agent that she's traveling internationally and she does not understand why her transaction was declined, since she travels internationally all the time and always uses this card. The agent will see the new suggestions notification pop up and selects it. And you can see with the power of contact lens and wisdom behind the scenes, capturing what the customer is asking, we can provide real-time suggestions to the agents from knowledge base articles to allow the agent to be able to provide the correct verbiage to the customer. Based on what the customer was asking regarding her international charge being declined, the international travel policy was most relevant here and provides the agent with some information to provide back to that customer. They need to enter their international plans into the Voyager mobile app to avoid any international fraud flags in the future, and also provide some context that Voyager sometimes declines unrecognized transactions to protect their members, just so Maria knows that the bank is working to help avoid any fraud for her. Once the agent is done with that policy review and providing that context to the customer, the agent closes the tab and returns to the workflow to verify the next step, which is the most recently approved transaction for verification purposes. Lastly, the agent will hit next once that's been confirmed and review the details on a summary page and select unblock card to get Maria set up to be able to complete her transactions at the Nile store. Then the agent is provided a confirmation that the card has been unblocked successfully. And here you can automate other workflows as well behind the scenes to maybe send Maria a text to let her know some of the activities that are happening behind the scenes on her account, and that her card has been unblocked and that she can now go ahead and use that for any future transactions. Agent can go ahead and close that workflow, and now we can present the agent with the list of think of next best action steps here. Maria is traveling internationally. She just had a travel transaction declined. Maybe we have a new few credit card offers that are available to her that we can present. The agent brings this up to her and she's interested, but she's not actually available to stay on the phone any longer and requests that this conversation be moved to SMS so that we can share the offers with her that way. The agent go ahead and move back to the home screen to find another workflow to initiate an SMS session with the customer. And I show you this because we want to be able to help you think out of the box with how guides works. It's not always 3-5 steps. It's also an enablement opportunity to be able to trigger workflows behind the scenes. So the agent can click start SMS session with the customer, and it will send them a text that as soon as they respond, it will route that text right back to the agent that they're already having a conversation with. So Maria will get this text. Maria will respond now. And once Maria responds, it will actually route that message right back to the agent. And the agent can respond and say they are engaged in an SMS session and return to the voice contact and wrap that up. This will create, the agent can go ahead and create a task to remember to follow up over SMS with credit card offers, maybe provide any details to help them once they get that task and when they're going to close it out. They can assign it to a specific queue, to themselves, and then once they're completed with all those details, they can go ahead and finally end the contact. And you'll immediately see once the agent ends the contact, the transcript with the power of contact lens is populated for the contact to easily allow the agent to copy and paste if they need to for the use of any notes or to use in the future, or even when they're using this for sending back those credit card offers, right? So that's a wrap for today's demo. And I just want to move along to how to get started, right? One of the first things you're going to want to do is explore and identify the outcomes you want to drive for your agents, specifically in your contact center, whether that's reducing contact handle time by knowing who your customer is quickly, improving agent time to proficiency to reduce onboarding time, or improve first contact resolution. Yeah, knowing what your expected outcomes you want to drive will help you measure success as you embark on your step-by-step guides or agent workspace journey. And especially as you learn how you can leverage our tools that are available to you and that are on our roadmap to drive your business outcomes. We're here to help, so use us to your advantage, get assistance from your solution architects and partner network to ensure you're following best practices as you enable these tools and commence on your POC journey. And start small to learn what works for your business and how it's driving your outcomes, and being able to innovate on something small versus starting big. A good place to start is oftentimes internally and then expanding to customer-facing workloads. And lastly, just want to emphasize the use of our documentation on our empowerment tools and our AWS teams to help support you. So if you enjoyed today's session, we do, as Sandeep mentioned, have a technical session tomorrow focused on guides to help get you started with building on your own instance. And you'll actually be able to walk out of that session with your first step-by-step guide. So highly recommend registering if you're looking to get hands-on with the feature, exploring its capabilities, and have an opportunity to ask more in-depth technical questions as well. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to Sandeep for Q&A.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it, and have a good rest of your day.